Today, we're going to look at just one single teaching from an ancient Jewish text, Pirkei Avos. But get this, it's a piece of wisdom so powerful and so misunderstood that it literally split a nation and kicked off centuries of conflict. So yeah, we need to find out how.
And here it is. This is the line from a sage named Antigonus of Socho. On the surface, it sounds beautiful, right? Simple wisdom. Serve for the right reasons, not just for the paycheck. Seems pretty straightforward.
But this sentence, this seemingly gentle piece of advice, it became the fault line for centuries of division within the Jewish people. The impact was, and this is no exaggeration, absolutely explosive.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How could a teaching about having pure intentions lead to something so catastrophic? To find the answer, we've got to start with the man who said it.
Okay, our investigation starts with the man himself, Antigonus of Socho. And right away, just by looking at who he was, we start to find some major clues.
So the first thing that jumps out is his name, Antigonos. That's a Greek name. That tells us he was living right in the middle of this period of huge Hellenistic or Greek influence, a time of incredible cultural fusion, but also a lot of tension. He was a direct student of one of the greatest leaders of the time, Shimon the Righteous, which puts him at a critical pivot point in Jewish history. He was supposed to be a bridge to the future, but his teaching, ironically, would create a massive rift in it.
And here's the chain reaction, how it all went so wrong. Antigonus presents this beautiful ideal, but two of his own students, Tzadok and Baitis, they hear it and they twist it into a totally devastating new logic. They basically concluded that, well, if the goal is to ignore reward, it must be because reward doesn't exist at all. No afterlife, no ultimate justice. And with that, they broke away, founding the Sadducees and Boethius, groups that rejected core Jewish beliefs and became bitter rivals of the Pharisees for centuries. All from one teaching, one misunderstanding. Just wow.
So this brings us to the core of the problem. You see, Tzadok and Baitis weren't just making things up. They were actually grappling with a real paradox at the heart of what Antigonus was saying.
I mean, the Torah itself is filled with promises of blessings for doing good and consequences for not. So you have to wonder, how could Antigonus possibly say serve not in order to receive reward? Is he telling us to just ignore a fundamental part of the faith? This is the very question that people have been wrestling with for 2,000 years. And the answer is hidden in the very precise wording. It's so subtle. Antigonus never denies that reward exists. The entire teaching hinges on the huge difference between serving in order to get something versus serving not in order to get something. It's not about the results, it's all about your reason for doing it.
Right. So the key takeaway is this. Antigonus isn't making some big statement about theology or the afterlife. He's talking about psychology. He's teaching us about our internal mindset, our motivation, our why.
And it's not a black and white rule. Serving for a reward, that's still valid. It's still good. But Antigonus is pointing to something higher. He's describing an ideal to strive for, a level of service that comes purely from love, where the whole idea of reward doesn't even enter your mind. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, because it's just an expression of who you are.
Now, to really get this, Antigonus uses a powerful metaphor that we have to unpack, and it's all wrapped up in the specific word he chose for servants.
He uses the Hebrew word avadim. Now, this doesn't just mean employee or, a contractor. In the ancient world, it meant something much, much deeper, a relationship of total belonging to a household.
Think about it like this. An employee has a transactional relationship. Their motivation is, what's in it for me? And if the pay stops, the work stops. Simple. But a servant, an adora, has an existential relationship. They belong. Their question isn't about personal gain, it's what does my master need? Antigonus is challenging us to see our relationship with the divine not as a transaction, but as one of fundamental belonging.
But then, just when you think you've got it all figured out, he throws in this one last line that seems to come out of nowhere. And let the fear of heaven be upon you. Wait, what? If this is all about serving out of pure love, where does fear come into it?
It's not an afterthought at all. It's actually the essential counterbalance. It's the safety rail. See, service that's based only on love can get a little too casual, too familiar. You might start thinking, hey, we're close, it's cool if I cut a few corners. The fear of heaven is what prevents that.
Now, this word fear is probably better understood as awe. It's what keeps the service serious.
It's that constant reminder that the one you serve out of love is also infinite, holy, and totally beyond our comprehension. Love and awe have to exist together. And notice he says it should be upon you, like a garment you're always wearing, not something you just check for every now and then, like your wallet.
And this is where the entire teaching comes crashing out of ancient history and lands right in your lap, right now. Antignos is posing a challenge directly to every single one of us.
Okay, so here's exactly where the students went wrong, and here's the warning for us. Zadok and Bytis heard not for reward, and their minds immediately jumped to, then it's pointless. Their entire view of the world was transactional. They just couldn't imagine a relationship built on anything else. And the challenge from Antignos is simple. Don't make their mistake.
So, the question comes to you. Why do you do what you do? I mean, be honest with yourself. Why are you kind? Why do you work hard? Let's push it a little further. If there was no social credit, nobody around to see your good deed, would you still do it?
And here it is, the ultimate test. If there was absolutely no benefit for you, not even that good feeling you get inside, not a reward in this life or any other, would the action still be worth doing?
That is the profound, kind of uncomfortable, and completely transformative question Antignos is asking. And look, most of us aren't there yet, and that's okay. But just knowing that this level exists gives us a direction to aim for, a North Star for our own growth.
And it all ends with this absolutely beautiful paradox. The person who actually succeeds in serving without any thought of reward, they end up finding the greatest reward possible. Not because they were looking for it, but because the service itself, the connection, the relationship, that becomes the ultimate point. And that is a reward so much deeper than any transaction.